Hello everybody. So I haven't posted for a while. It was a holiday season, which means it's busy at work, busy at home. Throw some appointments on there. You know, things get crazy, but here we go. So today's video gets straight to it. It's does size of a fighter matter in a street fight? So I've been watching quite a few videos on this. This suggestion came from one of my subscribers. Thank you, Cam. So it's a really good topic because the answer is not a black and white answer. It's not an automatic yes, not an automatic no. When it comes to this question, you got to look at all of the factors. So in any normal situation with two normal individuals, and when I say normal individual, I'm saying like, you know, your average Joe, not a fighter, you know, just somebody trying to get by. You have two people. You have a bigger person and you have a smaller person. I mean, yeah, the advantage goes to the bigger person. But again, you have to ask yourselves, even that factor. Is the person bigger due to fat? Is most of their mass fat, or is there some muscle to this person? Against a smaller individual, yeah, I mean, the bigger person has more mass to protect themselves, and at the same time they have more mass to distribute when punching versus a smaller person. Now again, that's one of the factors, or you can say two of the factors, because if you have a smaller person and the other person is like, it's really big, but due to the overweight type of side, with very little muscle, the smaller person might have an advantage in a street fight, because the bigger person just might not be able to even catch up physically to the smaller person. So that's just the obvious one, okay? So now let's get to the one that most people really argue about. You have a bigger guy, a muscular, let's just say bodybuilder type person, versus a smaller individual, also muscular, more leaner, maybe shorter, and maybe shorter in reach as well. So let's put these two together. Two different opponents, two street fighters. Let's just say none of them are actual fighters. They just have, one just has more muscle, a lot taller, a lot bigger, a lot thicker, and then the other one is a lot smaller, but also muscular, but more on the lean side. Again, the victory may go to the bigger person. Now again, these two are not fighters. They're just equipped with the body type of being fit. So yeah, you have more mass that's goes against you. Yeah, of course. Now we get to another factor. You have the bigger guy. They know how to fight, probably know how to grapple, probably know how to box, but they have a lot more mass on them. And then you have a smaller fighter, just as skilled, and you give them a good amount of muscle, but again, more leaner, might have less of a reach. So you get these two guys together, two actual fighters. Who does the victory go to? This is where it gets a little bit dicey, because both might be as experienced in the same fighting level, but the smaller guy might be faster due to the fact that they have to manipulate less mass. Now, I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to both fighters that they're both actual fighters, which means they both know how to use their body as a weapon. So, one of the advantages would go here would be the speed to the smaller fighter. Because if they're both fighters, that means they both know how to use their speed. That means you have to factor in the physics. The smaller guy will be faster. But if the bigger guy with experience knows how to move around that speed, then they can counter that speed from the smaller opponent. So, even the big guy has a chance to land a punch, and that punch is going to have more more mass behind it, more power. So, and I talk about the power due to the mass, because the smaller guy might generate just as much power, but due to the velocity. It's physics, Now, in most cases, when you watch these YouTube videos, you watch these YouTube shorts, you watch these past situations where a bigger bodybuilder guy tries to fight a smaller martial artist, usually we'll see the martial artist come out on top. Because first of all, the bodybuilder is not a fighter. I mean, it just factors that. It's just not a fighter. You might be let's put it this way. You give a machine gun to a child, but you give a 9mm to a military weapons specialist. Doesn't matter that the child has a machine gun, doesn't know how to use it. But you give a standard issued weapon to a military person, they can use that simple weapon very deadly. So even though the machine gun might have more speed, might have more power, more stopping power, doesn't matter. It depends on the person using it. So, to what I know, most bodybuilders, they don't know how to use their muscle, their mass in combat. That's not what it's for. No, they're there to. They're mainly there for aesthetics. In fact, you've seen a lot of other videos where some people that claim to be martial artists do a lot of fancy movements that are aesthetically pleasing, that might not even be efficient in combat. But you got a smaller individual that's a skilled martial artist, meaning that they've applied their knowledge to combat, to a situation where they need to defend themselves, through actual fighting methods. There's a good chance victory will go to a smaller person. Now, yeah, the smaller fighter should at least have a sense of how to execute a proper punch, a proper kick, how to hold a stance, how to put up their guard, to absorb any offense. Yeah, there's a very good chance. I mean, there's a lot of videos out there that have proven this already. Yeah, bodybuilder, yeah, they hold their own, but when it comes down to it, most people carry a glass jaw. And being a big bodybuilder, being a smaller guy, your jaw is going to can easily be damaged the same as any others. And that's really the only one part you need to knock somebody out. Most boxers, they want that shot where they just get a clean shot at the jaw, at their opponent's jaw, knock them out. One hit. So, I mean, size matters, but it depends on so many factors. So it's not really one way to gauge a fight. I mean, to be honest, now I'm not a small guy, but I don't consider myself a big guy either. I could say I'm between 5'8", 5'9", 200 and 50 pounds. If I fight a smaller guy that knows how to fight, the best way I use my mass is for defense. You know, if somebody smaller than me is going to try to get into my guard, they're going to have to punch their way in there. Because, you know, they have that speed, they have that velocity that can cause just as much damage. So I'm going to have to use my mass against their velocity. And obviously my level of experience, you know. I'll have to highly anticipate that opponent's movement, knowing that they are a lot faster. Maybe they are more predictable. So everything factors in. I'd be really wary about fighting a small guy. Now, if a small guy is highly skilled, then yeah, you know, I'd have to be aware that any one wrong movement that I do, any moment that I drop my guard, you know, could be my last movement. Now let's turn around. Let's say I'm gonna fight a bigger individual, somebody that's in the six foot something range, with a lot of muscle. If they're not really aware of combat strategies, you know, just like a tree, you know, you chop them down. You know, I'm not gonna try to punch them in the abs. I'm not gonna try to grab their arm. I'm not gonna try to punch them in the chest. You know, I'm gonna look for vital parts. I'm gonna look for an opening towards the jaw. I'm going to aim to the knees. You know, aim to the ankles. You know, maybe aim to the joints, areas that don't really develop as much protective muscle as other parts of our body. So no, I don't, you know, I'm probably more cautious versus a smaller, faster individual, because if a faster person has timing, there's a good chance they're gonna win that fight. I'm more confident fighting a bigger individual. Doesn't matter the pounds or the weight or whatever, you know. I feel like I can maneuver more around them. So, as I've discussed in the video, it can go either way, depending on the factors. There are always going to be factors to a situation. A bigger frame person, more muscular, does not equal that they're going to win the fight. I mean, there's videos where amateur MMA fighters have taken down pro football players in a fight. A football player is not a fighter. You know, yeah, they can hit, but an MMA fighter is trained to hit continuously. They're trained to aim to vital spots. So it all depends, you know. I mean, in some of my videos, I even talk about how even in a fight, a non-combatant can actually land a lucky blow and knock out a tenured fighter, a tenured martial artist. So, regardless of a bigger fighter, a smaller fighter, one thing will always take the advantage is how you train. If you train for combat, then you know you'll have an advantage in a fight. Now, yeah, this video is targeted towards a street fight, so it depends on what you define a street fight. Are you an experienced fighter fighting another experienced fighter in a street fight, or the two average individuals that don't normally practice combat and get into a fight? Then yeah, I mean, the bigger guy's gonna have the advantage most of the time, really close to all of the time. But again, they're non-combatants, you know. So a lot depends on the definition of what you would consider the rules of a street fight. So sorry if this video doesn't really help with that answer, because there is no correct answer to this. In the world of fight, in the world of combat, even when you fight and you've won, and you have some broken knuckles or some broken hands after winning a fight, you pretty much still lost, honestly. Most fights are won because they don't happen. But again, that's my take, my opinion, guys. Haven't posted in quite a while, so I'm glad to see those of you that have been asking for content, having the patience with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. Add your comments, add your disagreements, agreements. Let me know what you think, if a smaller fighter or a bigger fighter matters. I'll put you this way, you might have a really big fighter, like the guy from the movie Troy, really big individual. And then if you ask me if I want to fight him or Mike Tyson, I'd rather fight the bigger guy. I would not want to fight Mike Tyson, which in turn, he is a bigger guy, but he's not as big as the other guy. I would still rather fight the other guy than fight Mike Tyson, because he knows how to use his mass to knock your head off. And if you ask me between fighting Mike Tyson or Bruce Lee, I'd rather fight Mike Tyson. Because, Bruce Lee has been shown to destroy a 300-pound bag. I weigh less than that. I would not want to get destroyed by a Bruce Lee punch from somebody who is like 5'4", 5'6". Yeah, I'd rather fight Mike Tyson in that sense. Regardless, it all depends on how you train. If you're a small guy and you train for combat like you're trying to survive every single day, you're gonna have a good shot against anybody bigger in size. That won't matter. You just gotta train. You gotta have intention. You gotta train your body to become dangerous, and then you have the advantage. Anyways, it's a long video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, add your comments, add your concerns, disagree with me, as you tend to hear everybody out anyways. Have a great day.